This is Patriots linebacker, Super Bowl 49 champ, Darius Fleming, and you're watching Von Allen Sports, real and honest NFL analysis. Subscribe now. Join the empire. Von Allen Sports, let's go!
Von Allen Sports.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports. The Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
Von Allen Sports.
That was outstanding on so many levels. Look at that torque.
What's up? What's up? I just found something awesome. Hang on. Well, I think it's awesome. If y'all don't think it's awesome, well, yeah. Okay. Watch this. Master Chief's got a message for Drake May. Okay. It's coming from straight from the Master Chief. So this is important, you know. So.
What the fuck?
This is Spartan 117 with a priority message coming in for Drake May, quarterback of the New England Patriots. Dude, sharpen up and finish this fight. Chief, out.
Yeah, dude. Awesome.
Let's go. I need a weapon. Oh, I can do better. I need a weapon. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I clicked the wrong trigger on that to start. Sorry about the old lady. You know, that was kind of funny though, wasn't it? It kind of worked out actually. So how you guys doing, man? So we had to do a show tonight. We had to talk about everything tomorrow, and you know, don't worry about my jacket. It's good. It's good. Tomorrow's a championship game. This would only be bad if I wore this for the Super Bowl, okay? Or even a Super Bowl preview game. But this jacket is too fucking cool to not wear. So, yeah. Okay. I like it. And Tom Brady had one of his best games ever in that Super Bowl. So... Melania talking shit to me right now. What is that? Yeah. What's up? Whatever. I'm not interested in Mexican line dancing. Thank you. Her nephew is into that shit, and they keep making me trying to make me go. And yeah, I'm not doing that. Okay. So, John Thomas Chavez, what's up, man? Elf of Courage. Elf, you have a blue icon, a blue shield icon next to your name. I don't know. Are you endorsed by Blue Cross Blue Shield? No, man. I don't see it. I see these little purple crowns that come up next to your name with a number, but that's been there for a while. I don't see any blue shield. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? I see a blue wrench next to your name. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I can't see it on my end. That is weird. What the hell is that? What? Hang on.
This is Spartan 117.
Here you go. Yeah, so it's this weird blue thing. I don't know, man. I've never seen it, and it doesn't show up on my stuff. It's not in my comment section. That's weird. Weird, weird, weird. I don't know what it means. It must mean something positive though, because you know. Yeah, so don't know. Maybe it means you comment a lot and it's like a badge of honor, you know. Maybe you've watched a lot of shows, or you've been here for a lot of shows, and that's some kind of thing that they give you because it's cool, you know. So maybe. Yeah, but anyway, what's up, guys? Minuteman, Ryan Castile, what's going on? Kevin, what's up, man? Yeah, I need a weapon. Sydney Eubanks, what's going on, Sydney? Anyone else sick of all the Stidham hype? Like, my gosh, it's annoying. Okay. So, dude, like, I think it's nothing but Denver fans. Okay, what the Stidham thing is hope. Okay, it's hope. That's what it is. It's wishful thinking. They're trying to talk themselves up and trying to get this going, and they're also trying to get confidence. They want the team, they want the players to feel that and to sense that, you know, everyone thinks they can win and they're confident, because nobody on the Denver Broncos right now thinks that they're better off, completely better off, with a backup quarterback playing. Here's why. I will give you the reasons. Reason number one, why it is not a good thing to have Jarrett Stidham playing for you right now. Now, it doesn't mean that Stidham won't play well and somehow break out this great game and play well. You know why that's possible? Because he's an NFL quarterback. That's why. So he's perfectly capable of that happening. Of course it is. This is the NFL. This isn't high school. This isn't college. This is the real deal. All these guys are the best in the world, meaning that there are 32 starting quarterbacks. Jarrett Stidham is a backup, meaning he is one of 64. So Jarrett Stidham is one of 64 of the best quarterbacks on the planet. So yes, he is capable of getting in there and doing a good job. But here is why, if you're Denver, you would have some doubts. Number one reason is game speed. Okay? I cannot think of a more significant reason why you would want Bo Nix and not want Jarrett Stidham playing. I've been to NFL practices. I've been around them. I've watched them up close. You can practice. Okay? There is nothing like game speed. And that's just week one. Okay? No, sorry, that's preseason. That there's nothing like game speed. This is the championship game. This is for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Every player in New England knows that if they lose this game, they're out for the rest of the year until next year. So they're going to put everything on the line. They're going to throw everything at them. Every player is going to give it their all. They don't even care. To hell with getting injured. They're going to take risk that they don't normally take during the regular season. Okay? They're going to come at Stidham, all right? And practice cannot prepare you for this. Just to give you an example, Tom Brady, the great Tom Brady, didn't play for a full year, comes back, has a preseason, even has a full training camp as the starter, full preseason as the starter, knowing he's the guy, getting all the reps. And in week one against Buffalo, it took him till the fourth quarter to finally wake the F up. All right? And then even the rest of the year, he was kind of weird. All right? Stidham hasn't played in 2 years. And when he did last play, it wasn't even a significant game. So here's what you're going to see from Denver. You're going to see procedural penalties. You're going to see timing issues. You're going to see play calling delays, confusion between the coaches and the quarterbacks. You get that already with starters these days, especially with a guy like Sean Payton, who's like a lot like Sean McVay, who wants play calls that are a novel so they can feel like they're doing something special. And they want people to hear this on mic'd up and then think they're geniuses. So they call this spider 2 wide banana nonsense, and it goes on forever when you could have just said 2 things and the quarterback knows the play. But Sean Payton does that, okay? So it's confusing already, even for starters. For a backup in this situation, it's just going to be even weirder, okay? Number 2, nerves. What was the good thing that we said about Drake May last week? That was good because we're playing Texans. That was not good in the wild card game. What was that one thing? It was we were worried about Drake in the wild card against the Chargers because it was his first playoff game. And we were worried about the nerves. Well, Drake May got that out of the way. Certainly his fumbling had nothing to do with nerves. That was weather, and one of the fumbles wasn't even his fault. But you could see he was more comfortable, a lot more confident. We got that out of the way. So you got that. Jarrett Stidham does not have that first playoff start to get out of his system. This is it. Okay. So I guess you could say that, well, he's got nothing to lose. He's playing with house money. It doesn't work like that. Once you get out there, it occurs to you. Yeah, because you also know this. Stidham knows this. If he wins this game, that means he gets to go on and play in the Super Bowl. Just winning this game alone. It's not like he can win this game and then he's going to get Bo Nix is coming back. He gets to play in the Super Bowl. Win or lose, he's going to get to play in the Super Bowl if he wins this game. But he's also going to be a starter somewhere next year if he wins this game. Someone's going to give him a shot. Someone's going to try to take him from Denver. They're going to offer something to Denver, and they're going to take him. Okay? Owners and general managers in the NFL are some of the dumbest people that you will ever meet outside of what the side of the owners doing business, apparently. But inside football, somehow they are the dumbest people, and they would be impressed by one win, one game, and then they would offer the full bank. Remember Brock Osweiler? Okay, I mean we could come up with a lot of these scenarios, but Jarrett knows this, and that is going to be pressure. Like you just have no idea. I mean, what kind of pressure that is, and that's going to bother you. You're human. That's just how it is. Even the greats still have some kind of nerves and some kind of, even though they've done it a million times, I still get an anxiety rush when I play chess online, and it's not because I'm afraid of losing. It's just because you want to win so badly, and this adrenaline, this chemical mixture that happens in your body, you cannot stop it. You can't just say, oh, it doesn't faze me. Yeah, it does faze you. It's doing something to you. Now, maybe you take that and you channel it into something good, or you channel it into something not good, like CJ Stroud, for example. But the point is, it's messing with you. It's doing something, but it's all in how you handle it. And is Jarrett going to be the guy who takes it and runs with it, or is he going to be the guy that screws up? Well, we'll see. But those are the reasons why I would say you would not want a backup taking over who hasn't played. Okay. It's just not ideal. Doesn't mean it can't work. All right. And I'm sorry, Denver fans, but all of you mouth-breathing retards who keep commenting on X under my comments and saying, well, Kurt Warner and Nick Foles and Tom Brady were backups. Yeah. Yeah, no. No. Just no. Okay. First of all, okay, people have been mentioning this. I'm not joking. First of all, Kurt Warner, he took over in the preseason. Okay. Which meant that by the time he got to the NFC Championship game, he was already the man. He was already on the cover of Sports Illustrated like 5 times. Okay? And he had already sewn up a MVP award. Don't tell me that Kurt Warner was a backup. Don't tell me that the Tennessee Titans lost to a backup. Okay? Oh, well, what about Tom Brady? Oh, he was a backup. What? Tom Brady took over in week 2. And he was already splitting reps in preseason. By the time Brady got to the AFC Championship game, he was already that dude. Okay? So you had no worries going into it, right? Unless you're telling me Jarrett Stidham is Drew Bledsoe. Okay? A Drew Bledsoe who had played in week 1 and 2. A Drew Bledsoe who did have training camp, as the starter. Yeah. Okay. And only has to play a half of football. Nick Foles had already been playing when he went into a championship game, when he went in against the Vikings in the NFC Championship game. That had already been established. He had already been playing. Nick Foles also was a starter before for the Philadelphia Eagles previously. And then he had some stints in other places. And I also think he had played more within that time frame, at least probably 1 game or so. Even if he didn't, it doesn't matter. He had already played games that season with that team before he got to the NFC Championship game. And he was also playing the Vikings, who notorious for choking. So, okay, that was a low blow and it's not relevant to my point, but still, it's still funny. I have it out for Minnesota right now. So, but yeah. So it doesn't mean that you're going to lose just because you have a backup. Just stop with the whole Jarrett Stidham. We were in a good position. He'd be a starter on other people's teams. Well, he would be, wouldn't he? Josh McDaniels is the one who helped draft him in New England. And they let him go. He went to the Raiders when Josh McDaniels was the coach of the Raiders. Josh brought him there. Josh let him go after a year. And do you remember the Raiders quarterback situation? You guys remember that? And they let him go. Yeah. I just don't think that Josh McDaniels and the Patriots are losing sleep right now because they're playing Jarrett Stidham. All right? I have nothing against the guy. I liked him when he was in New England. I supported him when he was in New England. I thought that he might have had that something, you know? Well, I was hoping he might. But there wasn't enough to go on. There wasn't enough to know. But yeah. To be fair, I thought Mac Jones was going to work out, though. So maybe I'm wrong there. But anyway, the point is, Josh McDaniels ain't too worried about Stiddy. Okay? So, just... This isn't Drew Bledsoe coming in for Tom Brady. Okay? That's not what this is. It is our game to lose. Okay. We just have to play smart football. Just smart football. I'm not talking about anything spectacular. We don't have to have one-handed catches by Booty, okay? We don't have to have these crazy, catches by Diggs where You know, you have to have very strong hands to make that catch and hold on the ball. I still don't have any idea how. Everyone's talking about the booty catch, but the Diggs catch, watch the replay of that Diggs catch. When he goes upside down and it's this far from the ground, dude. And he was able to pull it up while he was twisting. We don't need that. Those heroics if we just be smart. And there's no rain, no weather conditions right now, so you don't have to think about stupid random things, you know, going wrong that went wrong in Houston. Okay? But the only thing about that is it was a neutralizer because Houston was dealing with the same crap. But it's probably going to be a nice day in Denver, so we just play our game. That's it. I don't think Jarrett Stidham is going to be CJ Stroud out there. But here's the thing. I didn't think Bo Nix was that good. When our game ended, when we knew we were going to AFC Championship, or not even when it ended, when we were at the end, I was live that night, and I had already felt good about this game because of Bo Nix, because I'm not sold on him. I didn't even know, of course, I didn't know about the injury until later, and then someone in the comments mentioned it. But my brain had already started processing the game based off of Bo Nix. This whole nonsense about Denver going into Denver. Okay, every Patriots game where we've gone into Denver and lost is completely irrelevant. It has nothing to do with anything. These statistics that people put up. You know? I even see one that says, oh, don't hire a former Super Bowl winning coach. Do you know why people are saying that? Don't hire a coach that had won a Super Bowl. Don't hire Harbaugh. Don't hire McCarthy. Don't hire Sean Payton. You know why? Because they won a Super Bowl. And no coach has ever won a Super Bowl and then won another Super Bowl with a different team. So people are actually saying that as if it has some relevancy. What the hell does that have to do with anything? What does a former team, a past team, playing against another past team have to do with playing Denver tomorrow? You know? I just don't get it. I don't understand why that is a point. Like, why does that matter? So one logo in 2026 is playing another logo in 2026 that used to play, that logo had a former team that played in Denver in 2015. And the only thing that's the same is the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. Right? Maybe not even that. I can't remember right now. It's off the top of my head. If Josh McDaniels moving around so damn much, I can't keep up with him. Yeah, Josh was there. Yeah, of course Josh was there. But the thing is, people come up with these weird things, and I see people betting money on past stuff like that. It's very, very weird. And I just don't understand why. Oh, the elevation. Yes, okay. The air is thin up there. I had to stay in Denver one time and a layover, and yeah, it's weird. You can feel it. There's something odd about it, right? It wasn't a big deal. I just sensed that something was a little strange. Wasn't the end of the world. I certainly could have done something cool, like something athletic, and wouldn't have died, But the thing about these, the weather and the air nonsense is that the Patriots left out today, okay, just hours ago. And a lot of people are losing their minds saying, oh, you had to get there earlier to get acclimated and stuff. Well, did some research on this, and apparently, I didn't know this at the time. But I didn't know this, but now I do. I'm going to share it with you guys. That to get acclimated to completely where you were like the Denver Broncos, where they're, used to it, it would take about a week probably. Realistically, that's impossible. Okay, so the team couldn't have been there a week ago, obviously, right? So that's one thing. So it's either you get there a week ago, which you can't do, or you get there right before, as close to kickoff as you possibly can. And here's why. Again, I didn't know this, but the negative effects of that elevation and changing it, it reaches its peak at the 72-hour mark. So the initial stages of it aren't so bad. Apparently, this is a real thing. Didn't know that. So the Patriots' idea was to arrive as late as possible that they could. And then, boom, you got to kick off at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And then you've minimized the effects. If you showed up yesterday, you're going to be hitting that peak time, the worst part time. If you had arrived 2 days ago, you're really screwed. So I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, like nicotine withdrawal or something. I don't know. It's very strange, but apparently I checked this out. It sounded weird to me at first, but again, I checked it out. I'm not Stephen A. Smith. I actually researched it. And apparently it's a real thing. Wow. So who knew? Science. Look at that. Oh, so there you go. Not too worried about it. That's all they can do. They couldn't leave a week ago, so this is all they can do. So apparently they did the right thing. Apparently Mike Vrabel knew this. So let's not worry about that too much. Okay, I'm just going back on the comments here. Yeah, backups practice against the starters, but they don't get hit. And it's also not game, like I was saying, it's not game speed. It's a different animal. Yes, there are times where, at practice they're going hard at them and stuff like that, but it is just not the same. The intensity is not there. The desire to absolutely and utterly destroy the opposing quarterback is not there. It just, not unless there's something personal going on between them, but you get the idea. It's just not the same. And then you don't want to be the guy responsible for injuring your quarterback on your own team. So even if you did hit him, but like Phil said, they're you don't even hit those quarterbacks. They're wearing a red shirt, wear a little red thing over there. But yeah, it's just nothing can get you ready for that. Nothing until you get it done. Hey, what's your problem? Quit whining like a little baby. You're my only son. Stop crying like a little bitch. You want your mommy? What's your problem, dude? Next thing I know, he's going to tell me he's into K-pop and can't wait to watch the halftime show for Bad Bunny. Jesus. Stop whining. Sidney Eubanks, Von Allen said Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl in his second year. Drake May is in his second year. Drake is 2 wins away from doing what Brady did in his second year. Let that sink in. And there's a lot more to that, actually, because Drake May looks similar to Tom Brady's first-year photos. They have similar stats. And we do know that Tom had cloned his dog. And we talked about this before last week. I see some people actually pick that up, by the way. We were talking about this last week. Yeah, so the word is out. People are aware of it. Tom's secret is revealed. Uh-oh. The NFC Championship is the real Super Bowl. No one's talking about the NFC Championship. No one. Like, it doesn't even matter. Nobody cares about it. It would be interesting if he ended up playing the Rams, right? Same thing over again. Psychomantis says, the talking heads are saying that Stidham will win because Sean Payton got Teddy Bridgewater to go 5-0 when he was on the Saints. 5-0 during the regular season, and each one of those circumstances are completely different from the other. We don't know what teams they were playing. I mean, what the situation for that team was playing. How good was their defense in the last 4 weeks when he played them? What was their secondary looking like? What were these teams? What was were the games relevant? I mean, you could ask all these questions. It's just completely pointless. I certainly hope that a good coach can make a quarterback play admirably. And this is why I'm saying that I wouldn't be shocked if Stidham played well. Okay, just a second. I'm going to take care of this. Yeah, Matt Flynn, John. That's another one. Matt Flynn, that little dude, stole so much money from Seattle. Yeah, because he had that one game against us. That one game against us in 2011, the year we went to Super Bowl. And he filled in for Aaron Rodgers for a game, maybe two. I'm not sure. But anyway, he played really well against us. We almost, well, it was a tough win for us. And then all of a sudden, Matt Flynn is like the hottest thing in the world. And that was just regular season, dude. That was regular season. Yeah. It's imagine if Stidham had won this game. So Phil says, do y'all remember when the Patriots went up 30-7 against the Jets and relieved Brady with Stidham? Then Stidham threw a pick six and they put Brady back in. That was Stidham. That was Stidham that did that. Holy crap, dude. That was Stidham that did that. Wow. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's hard to remember which backup at the time done something like that. But yeah, I guess it would have to have been him. Yeah. That's kind of funny. I mean, I couldn't remember if it was Hoyer or who, but that was Stidham. That's funny. All right. Was Stidham even on the roster at the beginning? Yeah. Yeah. He's been a Bronco. He's been a Bronco since last year. I think he's the second year, right? If he wasn't there this year, then wait, 2020. Wait. Okay, so Stidham was in Oakland or Las Vegas. Stupid Las Vegas. 2022, 2023. So where the hell was he in 2024? I thought he had been on the Broncos the last 2 years. Interesting. If he's on another team in between the Raiders and Broncos, that's another team that passed on him, that didn't want him anymore. Interesting. Yeah, this is just wishful thinking, guys. Well, I don't think, I'm not saying, Phil, I'm not saying that Bo Nix isn't good. I don't think he's everything that people are saying he is. That's all I mean. I think he's overrated. I think but I think he's okay. I mean, he's doing well, or he was doing well, but I like our quarterback over him. So the point is that it doesn't matter if Bo was playing or if Stidham was playing. To me, we have the better quarterback, and it's not. I don't think it's close. So. Yeah, Phil. The Patriots lost in Denver in 1986, so it's over. It's finished. It's completely. It's written. It's already done. Wow, I can't believe that's Stidham. That's funny. Yeah, yeah, and he went with Belichick went with Cam Newton. That's pretty rough. Well, halftime for me, it doesn't even really matter who's playing at halftime because I don't watch halftime. At halftime, that's when I do the YouTube. I usually in the past, I would chime in real quick and talk about my assessment of that, and then I'd be talking to people and stuff. I don't pay attention to it. I don't even care. So I couldn't tell you who the halftime shows were. I couldn't tell you what they were about or anything like that. The only ones I ever actually sit there and purposely watched were people that I liked, or people that I respected. So I of course I remember Michael Jackson's. I remember Prince halftime show. I remember the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake one for Janet. I didn't know she was going to show her tits, but that worked out good for everybody. So John says, similar thing happened with Matt Castle in 05, I believe. Late in the game, Pats are winning. Brady was on the sideline. Castle throws a garbage time pick, and Tom is put back in the game. Who is Stidham's backup? That's a damn good question. Ben DiNucci? Ben DiNucci. Holy crap. Are you serious? Wow. Okay, so Ben DiNucci's backing up Stiddy. Stiddy. How gay is that, by the way? Stiddy. I keep hearing people say that. Call him that. Stiddy. Sounds like Diddy. You didn't watch the Janet Jackson halftime show? Yeah, Justin Timberlake said, I'll have you naked by the end of this song. He kept singing those words. And he was serious. He was serious. By the time he got to the end of the song, we got front boob. We got side boob. I mean, he was telling us. I'll have her naked by the end of this song. He did. Or kind of. Almost. Halfway there. Who gives the Broncos a better chance to win tomorrow? P. Diddy or Jay Stiddy? It's interesting. Well, P. Diddy would be hard to tackle because he'd be so lubed up, you know. He'd have like, Vaseline all over himself. So we might keep flying off at him. Yes, exactly. John. Yeah. John's exactly right here. Stidham is a higher end backup, meaning that he is probably one of the top 10 in backup quarterbacks in the league. Fair. That's fair. Completely fair. I agree with that. But he's being hyped like he's Bubby Brister to John Elway in 1998. So that works. So it's like, and Bo Nix is no John Elway, So it's just, even though it was 98, doesn't matter. Give me an old veteran in a high pressure situation. I don't care if he is, halfway, he's maybe a year away from the retirement center. But Peyton Manning, helped Denver win a Super Bowl in 2015, and he couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't move, but his mind still worked. And it a lot of times, with quarterbacks, it's about getting in the right play. It's about the other team respecting you so much that they still defend against you like you were younger, like you weren't having problems, because they know that you can have those moments. Peyton had those moments against us. And he had some bad moments, and then he had those good moments, and those good moments were enough to win that game because we lost, obviously. So sometimes it's about just not doing stupid crap or timing, and luck involved too. But still, I'd be more confident in a broken down old veteran than I would be a young guy who hasn't played a game in 2 years. So certainly wouldn't treat it like that, So yes, Phil, that is exactly correct. That is right. Joe Flacco should be available to all 32 teams whenever they need him. They need to put Joe Flacco at the NFL headquarters in New York. They need to put Joe Flacco in a glass case and a sign that says break glass in case of emergency. And it's Joe Flacco. He's just in there. And a team needs a quarterback, you grab Flacco and you just insert him in. Like, there's got to be a way to make this possible. And we just do that for like the next 10 years. Because I don't think he's aged. Like, he looks exactly the same. Although, to be fair, when he was drafted, when he was a rookie, he looked like he was 45. So, I don't know. Maybe he just looks his age now and we just haven't noticed. But still, that's just how it is. How will the Pats offense handle the Broncos defense? I'll tell you, man. So I was rewatching the Bills Broncos game, and they started pulling off the gas in the second half. I mean, they got some things. They got to Josh sometimes, but they weren't always getting to him. They were not near as much. They were either pulling back or something was changing. But I am not sure that this Denver defense is any going to be more lethal than Houston was, right? So I'm actually not that worried about it. I'm not worried about this game, honestly. I think the Patriots can win this game. I think it's theirs to take if they want it. They just don't be a dumbass. Just don't be dumbasses. It's I know, Campbell had an issue, but wasn't that his first game back from injury? I mean, He did okay. It's not terrible, but I know I was yelling at him, but I'm calm now. I'm giving it some thought. Okay, and I think it's gonna be okay. I think it's gonna be fine. Yep, and Hollins is back too. It's weird. I just don't respect Denver the way everyone respects Denver. And maybe, I can't say it's a mistake because I'm not playing. I have no effect on it. So it doesn't matter if I respect them or not. It doesn't matter what I say as far as the outcome. It's not going to affect the outcome. But I just, I can't help the way I feel. I just don't feel like, I just don't feel like they're a Super Bowl team, and I think we are. And here's why. It is, the schedule, Aaron, but the schedule. Listen, man. I have seen a lot of football in my life. You play who's in front of you, and you win games. And the purpose of winning games in the regular season is to get a chance at the playoffs. And once you get in, all that other stuff doesn't matter anymore. Now you got a chance, So I don't care about the schedule. I have seen teams win Super Bowls with the easiest schedules ever. And I've seen teams win Super Bowls with the hardest. I have seen good teams have bad years when their schedule was easy. I've seen bad teams have good years when their schedule was hard. Okay? I get it that people like to talk about this. But it just doesn't hold a lot of water for me. And I care about how you've been playing and what you look like and how you're coming together the last 4 weeks. And now that we're in the playoffs, it should even be as recently as last week. That's a regular season format, but I need to know how you're handling the playoffs. Playoffs are a different animal, okay? This is when everyone's emptying out everything they can think of to try to win this game. Each game, more and more and more. They're just throwing everything out there. I think we are better. I just do. If that game last week against Houston is any indicator, I think we're okay. But Denver's, people want to talk about schedule. Denver's schedule isn't that different than ours. I'm pretty sure that their strength of schedule, they were, if we're number one, I think they were probably at least top 4, weren't they? Or top 3. They were right next to us as far as easy schedule. So I don't know what everybody's acting like that suddenly Denver is some kind of powerhouse that went through a gauntlet of teams. Also, have you noticed that every time we win a game, after the game, that team that we played sucked or wasn't any good or wasn't a real team? You haven't played any real teams yet. Chargers are going to destroy you. We beat the Chargers. Oh, well, the Chargers weren't a real team. They didn't have an offensive line. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. You haven't played a real team yet. The Houston Texans are going to destroy you. Okay. And we win. About the end of that game, it was a joke. Well, Houston, they had an injury, their wide receiver, and then during the game, their tight end gets injured and stuff. And CJ Stroud played like, the worst quarterback. He played as if you put Colin Kaepernick in there right now after 9 years. Okay. Wait a minute. But you said that Houston was going to beat us. Everybody was saying that Houston was going to beat us. What happened? I don't understand. And now, but Houston didn't beat us. They said, Drake May is going to fold under the pressure from that Houston Texans defense. That defense that's been the greatest defense since the Legion of Boom. since the Ravens. Remember that? After we win, oh, you haven't beaten a good team yet. If we win this game, it's going to be, oh, you beat Jarrett Stidham. If we go into the Super Bowl and we beat the Seattle Seahawks, it's, oh, you beat Sam Darnold. If we beat Matthew Stafford, oh, well, you beat up an old Matt Stafford. I know he's MVP, but he's old. So I'm just wondering, like, how this happens. This is how this mindset, it's weird. That's what also pissed me off about the narrative against Josh Allen, saying that if he doesn't win this year, he's garbage because, there's nobody in the playoffs that can beat him, that should be able to beat him. It's like, yeah, dude. If these teams suck so bad, then how come the Chiefs couldn't win but 6 games? Shouldn't Patrick be here right now? Shouldn't it been Josh versus Patrick? And Denver shouldn't even be talked about. But for some reason, the Kansas City Chiefs could not win more than 6 games in this cupcake season that everyone's talking about. This Mickey Mouse season. This Mickey Mouse playoffs, No Lamar Jackson. If Drake May gets to the Super Bowl, well, there's no Lamar Jackson. They'll say the same thing for him. Lamar Jackson. Since when was Lamar Jackson the road to the Super Bowl? Oh, there's no Joe Burrow. Oh, you mean Glass Joe? Literally, Glass Joe? That like the character, You could use that name. You could literally use that name if you wanted to, Glass Joe, from the Mike Tyson Punch-Out game. That Joe Burrow? What are we talking about here? The powerhouse that is the Cincinnati Bengals? Really? Patrick Mahomes. No Patrick Mahomes. You mean the Patrick Mahomes that couldn't win more than 6 games? I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, I do know this. Maybe that's not the thing. Maybe you just got to respect these teams and we just have to go with it. So I don't understand all these different angles and stories that happen. It's very strange. Pepperidge Farm remembers. San Francisco and Denver had the 2nd and 5th weakest schedules, but nobody said anything about it. Of course not. John Thomas Chavez says, Pats could go back in time, beat the 85 Bears, and the reason would be blamed on Jim McMahon. Very true. CJ Stroud is better than Jarrett Stidham. Alpha Courage says it's rational fear. What has Lamar or Burrow won? Nothing. Lamar's not even played in a Super Bowl. It's just... Phil, if the Super Bowl is Stidham versus Darnold, it's probably going to be the I don't know. I don't even know. I can't imagine that. Like, I don't even know if I want to have a Super Bowl party. If that's the matchup. That sucks. That's awful. It's gonna be New England, Seattle. That's my feeling. Okay. I think the Rams are extremely, extremely lucky to be in the position they're in right now. I just don't think they're that team. I just Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part because I hate them. I absolutely hate the Rams. I can't stand them. I cannot stand Sean McVay. I cannot stand Matthew Stafford. And I'm already tired of hearing Puka Nakuka Namuka Nawuka's name. Okay? Screw that guy too. And you know what? Fuck Aaron Darnold. Okay? Why? Aaron Donald's not even playing. He's retired. Yeah, well, you know what? Fuck him anyway. Because he's probably going to be in the facility or at least nearby. So that's how I feel about it. Elva Courage says Pats could go back in time and beat the Steelers, the Steel Curtain, and they would say, "Oh, you beat the redneck Bradshaw." Yes, yes, that's exactly what it would be. That's exactly how it would go down. You're right. Unbelievable. Yeah, you know, well, Sam Darnold, he was on the Vikings, so we understand it wasn't his fault. It's just the Vikings suck. Anything Minnesota touches sucks. If you want to be a loser, relate it to Minnesota. I mean, the Vikings never lost a war until they became a mascot for a Minnesota team, and then they can't win anything. You know, that's just how it works. When your governor is Tim Walz, you're just going to suck. And okay, when you're canceling games, basketball games, because you are a bunch of pussies, you suck. All right? Tampon Tim, yeah. Boy, that guy's never going to live down that nickname, is he? I'm going to tell you another thing that's annoying me. Can I tell you guys something that's annoying me? Rodney Dangerfield, that's right. That's the story of the franchise. No respect. We don't get respect at all. Yeah, actually, they do respect us. They fear us. And that fear is respect. That is a respect. It's just they're terrified. They're terrified of another dynasty. They're terrified of it so bad they can't help it. But I want to bring up something else. You know, this might be controversial because it's talking about Patriots players, but I don't give a damn. It's still true. Former athletes make terrible analysts. Sometimes. There are some that are pretty good. But my God, Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, and Rob Gronkowski are complete dog shit when you put them on video and ask their opinion about something. Holy crap. Listen. First of all, let's talk about Tom. So they put Tom, like Tom gets on Colin Cowherd's show. Now I'm not talking about him announcing games. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when they just ask him to give his analysis for the game coming up. Of all the things that Tom Brady could tell us and say, he's not. He's not saying anything. He's just, it sounds like Tom Brady when he was the Patriots quarterback talking to the media. I'm like, well, Tom, I could have said that. You know, it's weird, right? And then I watched Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski's little, you know, pre-show thing. It's like weird. Julian and Rob, they were talking as if they were us on YouTube. Like us talking, like me and you guys. Like if we were talking, like you guys remember y'all used to call in, okay? And we'd be all on video and we'd be talking about what we have to do and the keys to the game and all this stuff. And we'd come up with just like real obvious shit sometimes. It's just like, it was Gronk and Julian. They were trying to be us. They were mimicking us. Like they were mimicking what they thought it was to be an analyst. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. We're like that because we don't have an inside track into the game. So we do say things like that. And we say cool shit too, but I'm saying that, but we also have to say those other things because we don't have a complete picture. But you're Julian Edelman and you're Rob Gronkowski. Tell us what the fuck is happening. Tell us what they're doing. Tell us why you think Denver is weak here and why they're not. Don't give me some bullshit that I can see on film. That's something I saw during the game. I need to know what you know about him. What do you know about Jared Stidham? What do you know about him that may give the Patriots the edge? Tell us what you think about him. And it's not just them. It's Colin Cowherd. So, I was telling you about Tom Brady interviewing with Colin Cowherd. Colin asked Tom a question or brings up something about about Tom losing in Denver. And Tom makes a joke. Oh, man, you don't have to bring that up. You know what Colin says? Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. It's just what they wrote here on this piece of paper. What did you just say? Hold up. You're just reading what they said, what they wrote on your piece of paper, Colin? So your questions, you have the GOAT on your show to interview him about the championship Sunday. And the questions were written for you by somebody else? And you didn't even know the question ahead of time, and so you're just like, oh, I'm sorry. Because if it was so bad, or if you didn't want to ask that question, you would have removed it. So you didn't even look at it? So not only did you not write your own questions, you didn't even look at it. Do you guys know what this means? This means you could take a fucking monkey that could do sign language and do Colin's job. It means that whenever you tune in to Colin and watch him speak, you're listening to the opinions of an idiot intern at Fox who doesn't even know a tenth of what you know. But it's coming through the mouth of Colin Cowherd. And he's got a face, and people know him. So they take it and think all of a sudden has this illusion that it means something. But there's nothing of value there. They're not saying anything that really connects with you as a viewer. And I'm not saying you can't say obvious things. That was not my point. It's not even his obvious things. It means that he doesn't even know what's going on. Dude, there's a viral picture going around of Stephen A. Smith at the NBA Finals. All right? Now, this is bad enough if this was the Super Bowl somewhere else, but the NBA is Stephen A.'s thing. If there's one thing that he knows and he's supposed to be good at, it's the NBA. He's at the NBA Finals, and someone from behind him takes a picture of him on his cell phone, and he's playing solitary. On his phone at the NBA Finals. These guys are actors. They're actors. They show up for that day. They get on camera and start saying some random stuff. Did you know that Stephen A. Smith was sitting there asking why no one's giving our offensive coordinator any love because implying maybe it's because he's black? Well, the guy hasn't been there because he's got cancer, dude. Okay? Stephen A. didn't know that, apparently. And he's just going on, and Cam and Cam Newton and an idiot, Rick, so Clark, stupid idiot Clark, he is just kind of like nodding along. Duh, 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 duh. But I told you guys this years ago, even during the Brady hate saga. I think I touched on it a bit. This is why they contradict themselves. This is why they constantly have a take one week and then the week later it makes no sense. Because those are different interns writing those different takes. If it was you, you would be consistent all the time. You know, it would there would be like a line. It would make sense, and and if you changed your mind, you would reflect on why you changed it. You know, like I do that sometimes. I'll say, you know, because you know I was hating on Aaron Rodgers for all these years, and now all of a sudden I'm supporting Aaron Rodgers. But I explained why. I'm aware that I changed my stance and I changed my position. And you guys are with me along the road as I'm changing my position and explaining my position. Okay? But one week, Colin Cowherd would say that Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback that's ever lived. And the next week, he's talking Tom Brady. He's saying Tom Brady's the GOAT, and Aaron Rodgers is actually not that good, and Matthew Stafford actually might be better than Aaron Rodgers. Why would he say something so atrociously idiotic 1 week later? Because he doesn't remember that he said that, because he was just reading something on a teleprompter. And when you're reading something on a teleprompter, you're not taking it in. You don't listen. It's not you. It's not your words. It's like actors in a TV show. The characters in a TV show don't know about continuity. Okay? So let's say the Friends, okay? It's sitcom like Friends. I bring that up because I know everybody knows what that show is. Who's the most famous person on there? Phoebe, okay? Yeah, let's say Phoebe, the girl who plays Phoebe, says that she's never been to New York, never been to New Jersey or something in season 2, okay? But in season 6, she mentions that she used to take vacations in New Jersey, although God knows nobody would ever do that. But she would say that when she was a kid, they used to take vacations there. That's a lack of continuity, okay? Why does that happen? Different writers come in. They don't give a shit about what happened in season 1, 2, 3, 4, what anybody else has done. They're just coming in, they're writing jokes, and they don't give a shit. The actors, they don't care either. Why? Because it's just memorized words and they will never think about them ever again. As where if you watch the show, you remember that and you go, what the hell? You know? I pick up on continuity errors all the time on TV shows. You know? I love my sci-fi. I love Star Trek. I love Doctor Who. I love stuff like that, right? And they do their best to not have continuity errors, but sometimes they slip. Sometimes they just get through and, you know, you just don't, you can't help it. There's a TV show. I have one of my, what do they say? One of your things that you don't like, you're not proud of, but you watch is Liam Delano, like that TV show, Big Bang Theory. It's not on the air anymore, but we notice, you know, continuity errors there sometimes. And you know, this one time Sheldon, he made a baseball metaphor in like early in season 2 or season 3 or something like that. Yeah, guilty pleasure. There you go. That's what I was trying to think about. It's a guilty pleasure. But then like later at the end of the show's run, like season 10 or season 11, like years down the road, he makes a baseball analogy and he goes, "Oh my God, that's my first sports analogy. I'm so proud of myself." You know, again, that's not a big deal. Okay. But it makes my point. All right. But you can't do that when you are supposed to be getting paid to be an analyst. When that's your job, people are expecting you to know your shit. And you're doing that week in, week out, because you got writers and you got everybody doing all your stuff for you. It's pathetic. This, in my opinion, stuff like that should be fireable. But anyway, listen, let me get off Colin here. I wanted to just get back to the players, what I was talking about, Brady and Edelman and Gronk. Edelman and Gronk are trying to act like YouTubers instead of being them. I don't want to see other YouTube. I don't want to see regular. I want to hear them. I want to know what they have to say. They've got something special. Okay. They've got the inside track. They've got the experience. That's why I want to listen to what they say. But they don't do it. They don't do it. They're sitting there just saying this random stuff. And you can see they're even trying to behave that way. Like, you can see Gronk, like, thinking about it, like, trying to sound like he's, you know, a YouTube analyst guy or whatever. Like, the way he was trying to talk, he's saying the things that he thinks that people want to hear. When it's exactly the opposite. We don't want to hear that. We hear this all day. We hear it all the time. We read it all the time. We think it, okay? We want you to tell us what you know that nobody else knows. I'm not talking about secrets. You don't have to tell us. I'm just talking about details about the life as a player. What are the players thinking right now? What were they thinking on the bus ride? What were their habits? Okay, Julian, tell us what you were doing that day on the last AFC Championship game of your career. What were you doing that day when you were getting on the bus? What was going on that day? Was there any drama? Was there any problems? Was there anything that the coaches were concerned about that we might be interested to hear about? What about Gronk? How was he feeling? What was your health like going into an AFC Championship game after a whole season? You know, tell us some stuff, man. And Tom, tell us what Stidham's thinking right now. Tell him what he's going through. Tell us what Drake is thinking. You did it. You did it. You were in your second year. He didn't say any of that. He just said everything that we would say. Oh, this is going to come down to special teams. Oh, thank you, Tom. I didn't fucking know that. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if Seattle, you know, runs one back on the Rams, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's going to really, you know, hype up the crowd and get everyone going and excited. Yeah, that's great shit, Tom. Thank you. Is that why they're paying you $350 million? No, Tom. Tell us something. Tell us what Drake is thinking right now. Tell us what the pressure is like. What's happening in his personal life? Are people texting him shit and everything? Does he have to block that out? Does he have to like tell nobody to call him? Or does he have to tell his family, even if something goes wrong, don't call me? Like, what is it? What is it like? What is that like? Tell us, man. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about right there. Okay. I want to hear that shit. You know? But if you're just saying stuff that we say, then what are you doing? You know? What are you doing? It's just, I don't know. I have so much respect for these guys that I want to see them be elite at what they're doing. And I don't like to see them just being regular, like when they could be great at this, when they could be telling us things that are just like, holy crap, you know? And I think that as a whole, not this is not just sports, it's in politics and everything. I think there's just a desire for some good stuff, some really good quality content now, because everything is just so, and every athlete now thinks that they are whatever, a entertainer. And if you're going to do that, give us something. Tell us something, you know, give us something that only you know. Otherwise, what's the point? So exactly, Elf. Even the GOAT has to say those things who pay him to say. Well, he should have put that in his contract that I say what I want to say. I'll be Tom Brady. I'm not talking about cussing on TV and all that stuff. I'm not talking about like messing with the rules and regulations and all that. But I'm talking about, I'm not going to read your stupid script. I'm not going to tell you who I think is going to win because you said so, even though I don't think they're going to win. You know, he should have had the integrity to put that in there. He can't hide behind that. That's not right. It's not cool, man, because what Tom says, we believe, like we take it. So what if he's saying just random bullshit, you know, that some intern sent to him in an email? That's really lame, you know? So I don't know. You want to see Tom for real? It's when he is talking on his YouTube channel, when he's doing a private, when he's just talking regular about the game and stuff like that. You can see the difference. That's actually what pisses me off too, is that you can see that how good he is at this. You can see how he would be. It would be amazing if they just let him go off. Just let him go off. Let him do what he wants. Let him say what he wants. That I don't know why. Well, I do know why. They have to control the storyline. There's teams they want to promote. There's teams they want to push. Blah 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 and all that. You know, there's a weird reason why he picked Matthew Stafford. I'm not sure, but I just know he doesn't believe that. Everything that I know about Tom and what he values, I just don't think he believes that. I don't think he believes that Matthew Stafford is that good. Just, Well, Psycho, yeah, Edelman tries too hard to be normal. Edelman also annoys me with the way he talks sometimes. He's like, "Oh, that guy," you know, and he does this weird. He puts on this weird accent that makes no sense. I don't know what he's doing exactly. Maybe he's trying to talk like Belichick or something. It's weird, but it's very fake. It's very fake. I don't like it. I wish Julian would just talk normal. But with Gronk, I think Gronk is just trying to do a good job. And he's trying to sound, he thinks everybody thinks he's stupid. So it's coming from more of an innocent perspective. He's not trying to act like he's cool or whatever. He's trying to sound what he thinks sounds smart and educated, because he's worried that everyone thinks he's stupid. But let me tell you something. The guy who could thrive in Tom Brady Patriots New England offense for that long and be the greatest tight end that's ever lived can't be that dumb. So he also has all of his money. So, but he's worried that people think that. So I think that's what he's doing, and he's kind of feeding off Julian. Like I think Rob would just kind of go along with it in that sense. But Julian does try too hard. He's kind of full of himself. It's that's the thing, he doesn't have to do that though. He's Julian Edelman. I mean, just be you, you know. You saw his friends, his co-hosts. He's not who he's pretending to be. He's a regular guy. He's just a regular dude. Be that guy. I don't know this little character that he's come up with, but the amount of knowledge that these guys have, the combined knowledge, is astounding, and they need to tell us what's up. They're not playing anymore. What are they hiding? You know. Besides, talking about it helps you remember it. It's good for your memory. It's good for your brain. You know, so they don't. In case they get dementia one day, they don't remember everything. Well, they can watch the video. See? Works out for everybody. Tell them it's good for their health. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend it. The 5th doctor is a Jets fan, so screw him. But there you go. Yeah, there are some guys that do a good job. That's why I said at the beginning, not all of them, but there are some that really bug me. But there are some that are really good, and some that are just straight up. You usually have to catch them though outside of their official setting. So like, you know, you're not going to get anything good out of them if they're sitting on a panel on ESPN or something like that. Normally, it's rare to get anything interesting or anything more interesting than when they're talking on their own. So, you guys ever notice the difference between Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay than when he was on Undisputed? You guys see the difference there? See the shit talking he does on Club Shay Shay, the stuff he says, the inside details that he talks about. On Undisputed, he was just talking about everything that we talked about. Same thing, just random stuff. He was taking positions that didn't make any sense. He had to hate Tom Brady. That was the thing, because Skip loved Tom Brady. You know, it's just it's all theater. It's all a joke. Yeah, I don't think Gronk is dumb. But by the way, intelligence is a very tricky thing. I know a lot of dumb smart people, and I know a lot of smart dumb people. So it's yeah. Usually if I say someone is stupid, it's more of behavioral. It's not that I think that their IQ is low or that they can't do anything. If I say, oh, that guy's such an idiot or a dumbass, I don't mean that they're, I just mean that they're acting like a fool. That's what it means. Gronk should just embrace it, honestly. It is a little weird listening to him talk on Fox when he's on the panel with the other guys and he's trying to be like them. He's trying to talk like them. It doesn't work. It sounds funny. He should just be himself, and that would work, I think. Oh yeah, Phil. That's a good point. Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's a smart dude, man. He's a smart dude. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that don't think he's that intelligent. I don't know why. I don't get that vibe from him. I never did. I knew he was a really smart player. I knew that. I remember that. But there are some players that are really stupid. Like Vince Young was pretty stupid. Vince Young was stupid. He might be the dumbest player that's ever played. Probably. Yeah, I'd say. Can't think of anybody dumber than him. And I do mean that. I'm not, unlike what I said earlier, I actually mean it. I think he is stupid. But he's a rare case. Mayo, Gerard Mayo. You don't want to get me started on Gerard Mayo. Yeah, Mike Vrabel's gonna. Yeah, he'd chop off. He'd chop his man parts for a Super Bowl ring. Well, he might have to this year. So. Ren and Stimpy. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Wow, Ren and Stimpy. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Psycho Mantis, that's cool. You wrote a sci-fi thriller. That's awesome. Hey, Elf, that would be fun to have Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler commentating the Super Bowl. That would be hilarious. That's not a bad idea, dude. I thought he said he would get himself clipped or something like. I think he said something about. Didn't he imply that he might get a vasectomy or something for a Super Bowl? I don't know. It was something like that. Like it was something messed up like that, but I can't remember the exact words or exact details or whatever. But yeah. All righty, all right. What's up, Crossbearer on Rumble? How you doing? I'm just looking at the news cycle here, seeing if there's anything I missed that I wanted to talk about. There's the Patriots arriving in Colorado, getting off the plane. I don't know, man. Just all week long, they seem very comfortable, very confident. Like they act like the guys who know something that everyone else doesn't. Like there's something that they know that they've got. At least that's been their behavior. Now, there's years where I see teams get off the planes or they're at practice or they're giving interviews, and I sense something's off. I sense something's not quite right. This particular Patriots group does not have that. They just seem like they think, you know, they've got it, you know. Not in a cocky way, not in like, you know, I just mean that kind of like Tom Brady had the Chiefs, and you know, like he knew that they were going to win. They knew they were going to win. This team has something there. It's just different, and that made that probably has a lot to do with Mike Vrabel. You know, like if you trust your coach, and you trust Josh, you trust Mike, you trust the staff, the coaching staff, you trust your quarterback. You can do anything, right? You feel great about it. But they all just walk with this attitude. It's very interesting. Yeah, I think we got this. I just don't. I'm completely shocked that they just play like garbage. And unless what I'm seeing is not pure confidence, that's pure, and it's just ego, then we're in trouble. But how can you know, right? How can you know for sure until you see? So, I mean, I do remember ego sneaking in there against the Bills. And I bring that game up a lot because that game's important. It showed that they were buying into the Drake May MVP hype, and they were sitting there celebrating in the end zone, saying MVP and all that stuff. And it was only a half of football had been played. That's a problem, right? And you could see that they were feeling themselves way too much, and people talking about them and everything. And we know what happened. It fell apart. But I haven't really seen that since that game. So that might have been the turning point. Have we even lost a game since that game? I don't think so. Mike McCarthy is the head coach of the Steelers. That is, well, that's an interesting hire that I did not expect. To be honest with you, I didn't expect the Steelers to have a coaching hire for. I don't know. I thought it might take weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I definitely didn't think it'd be this soon. And I definitely didn't think it was. I thought here's what I was thinking. That the Steelers were going to come out with some guy that no one knows, some young dude, so they can have a guy that for another 15 years of not having to deal with finding a new coach. You know, I thought that's kind of what they were going to do. Somebody somebody just posted that they're watching the AFC Championship game in 2015 to get ready to understand how this game's going to go. Anybody want to tell them the issue with that? You know, these people that climb these skyscrapers are utterly insane. You guys ever watch that? These guys they'll just start climbing a building just freely. It's completely idiotic, and I can't stop watching it. And I hate it too. Okay, so here's the thing about me. It's a very confusing way to be, but it's just how I am. I'm not afraid of heights in the traditional sense. But let's say that I'm on a building, like in one of those huge skyscrapers, and I'm on top of the building, and I'm looking down. It bothers me. Like, it really bothers me. In a movie, when I see the character walking on and almost falls, and they show the path down, you know, that bugs me. I'm like, oh, that sucks, you know. But at the same time, if I was at a hotel, I would want I want the view in the top floor. I just don't. Looking straight down is rough, right? But I don't mind flying. I know. Doesn't make any sense, right? It's just one of those things. But watching these guys freehand, they were whatever you want to call it, no harness or anything, and they climb these skyscrapers. It's driving me nuts the whole time watching it. But yet I can't stop watching it. What the hell is that all about? That's some sick stuff right there. Well. Yeah. If we win, well, we beat a backup. If we lose, well, we lost to a backup. So if we're gonna get that kind of crap, I'd rather be a winner. How about that? Oh, Phil, I just want to be clear. I'm not making fun of somebody watching the old games. That's fun. I do the same thing. That's not what I meant. What I meant is that they were saying that they were watching film of the 2015 AFC Championship game to prepare them for this game, to get them ready to understand this game, as if it's the same. Like it, what you might as well watch a game from 1985. I mean, what does that even mean? You know, that's what I meant. I didn't mean for the nostalgia and for the vibe and everything. And no, I do that too, of course. Who doesn't, right? But no, I just meant they were saying that like they were watching film, like they're coaching in the game, and that everything that happened in the 2015 game is somehow going to be relevant to this tomorrow. It's just that it's hilarious, you know? What are you talking about, dude? I mean, it's so funny. All right. I think that's good. So, I just wanted to, vent with you guys, talk to you a bit before the game, because we ain't got many games left. This is got 2 tomorrow, and then we got the Super Bowl, and it's over. It sucks, but yeah, just wanted to talk about it a bit. Sorry I didn't give you all the bullshit, like, I think if Denver's run defense can blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about that. That doesn't mean anything. Of course, if special teams does a good job, then that probably increases their chances. You know what else? If the Patriots can score more points than Denver, they got a good chance of winning that game, I think. So, I sure did. Seahawks, Seattle Seahawks are going to pummel the Rams, I think. That's not what I want to happen. Yeah, it's what I want to happen, but it's what I think will happen. Because there have been times where I've picked people, or I've picked the Chiefs to win. So it's not me picking based off of what I want to happen. I really do believe that. I know Seattle played the 49ers last week. I know they were injured, blah, 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 blah. 49ers are good no matter what, okay? That was an impressive victory by Seattle. And trust me, I'm no Seattle fan either. I don't like them that much. I don't like the city that much. But, and the state is completely shit, as far as, you know what I'm talking about. But I think Seattle's going to win. Wouldn't it be awesome if we blew out the Broncos tomorrow? I'm talking just utter destruction. You know how we can shut up people? As far as like, oh, you beat a backup quarterback. Well, it's like this. It's the same thing as the excuse the Chiefs fans use for Patrick Mahomes for the blowout of Super Bowl 55 when they say, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes didn't have an offensive line. Okay. Well, how does that explain Tom Brady completely shredding and torching the Chiefs defense? So that's one problem. So if Drake just dominates the Denver defense tomorrow, I'm talking throws up 3 touchdowns and shit like that, 300 yards, 50 rushing yards. Screw it, let's go. Okay. Then he'll have a rushing touchdown, by the way. It really doesn't matter what Jarrett Stidham does it? It really doesn't matter who the quarterback on the other end when you're getting blown out by that much. Okay, quarterbacks do affect your own defense's performance. Of course, that is very true. I'm actually one of the people that point that out. That a lot of people, funnily enough, don't mention. But not in a blowout. Okay, not in a situation like that. Nothing was going to save the Chiefs from the Bucs that game in that Super Bowl. Nothing was coming to save them. Not a better offensive line. Nothing was coming to save them. Okay, it's just even if the offensive line was protecting Patrick and the Bucs couldn't get to it, Tom would have just kept scoring on them. Okay, they stopped. And the first time ever in Bruce Arians' entire career, he pulled back. He stopped. They stopped going. They stopped running up the score. Tom would have put 50 up on their asses in that game. They couldn't stop them. They couldn't do anything. After that first quarter, it was over. So it wouldn't have mattered on the other end. That's what Drake's got to do. Drake needs to just take it out on that Denver defense, and then nobody can say anything. It's like, okay, well, what now? Oh, it's Jarrett Stidham. I said, I didn't see Jarrett Stidham out there on defense, dude. Was he gonna do anything about that? You know, his job is to outscore Drake, isn't it? That's his job. You know, I'm tired of excuses. I don't make excuses for our guys when we lose. Oh, Tom Brady's offensive line was completely screwed in 2015. So we deserve to go to the Super Bowl. It was just luck that Denver got lucky because we didn't have, our offensive line wasn't working right. We didn't have Dante Scarnecchia. Oh, really? Really? I don't know if anyone noticed, but the other quarterback, Peyton Manning, he was like a corpse, dude. He was like, it was like Weekend at Bernie's out there. Okay? We could have won that game. All right? By the time you get to the championship game, everyone's injured. Everyone's got problems. Okay? There's something going on. Everybody. There's no excuses anymore. If you're having to go on the road, it's because you didn't win enough games. And it's because you didn't win the right games. So you have to go on the road. Well, win on the road. Just do it. Just get it done. No excuses. What is all this bullshit? You never heard any more excuses than when you listen to a Chiefs fan. And now the Denver fans are already acting like that. And the game hasn't even been played. It's weird. Yeah, I want it to be in Foxborough. That'd be amazing. But it's not. We just had to go and lose that freaking game to Buffalo and let them come back. And just, whose fault is that? Is that Denver's fault? No, that's the Patriots' fault. So in 2015, if we were good enough to get to the AFC Championship game and only lose by 2, because we needed a 2-point conversion. If we were good enough to get that far, we were good enough to win. You know? And that's it. Like I said, everybody's got problems. Everybody's got injuries. Everybody's got issues. The Chiefs got to the Super Bowl 55, didn't they? They got there. Okay? They did everything they could to get there. You're there. Oh, our offensive line is messed up. Oh, our head coach's son is an idiot and killed somebody in a wreck. Not our problem. That's it. Oh, 2016, Tom Brady was suspended for 4 games, and there's no Rob Gronkowski. That's why we didn't win the Super Bowl. Oh, wait. Yeah, we did. Because it doesn't matter. Yeah, it sucks. Yes, it hurts you, in a certain way, but you've got to move things around. That's the point of a season. The season is a marathon to see who can last the longest and see who can adjust when inevitable injuries happen. That's the point of all of it. If it was about getting all the best guys and it wasn't a real game unless you have all your best guys playing against all your best guys, then we would play one game and then everybody'd be ready and then that would be it. And then we'd move on. And then we'd wait until everyone's healthy again and play the next game. What's the point of an 82 game season in the NBA or in the NHL? It's a marathon. You know? Can you adjust? Can you move the pieces around? Can you last that long? You know, anybody can play good if they've got all their best players and they're all healthy at the same time. But no, you're going to have injuries. The Chiefs' job in Super Bowl 55 was, okay, our offensive line is lacking here. We've got to make decisions and we've got to move things around to fill that hole. Maybe we play our offensive differently. There's a thought. Now, wait a minute. Our offensive line is not that good right now because we've had some injuries. It's decimated the line, right? So I know our quarterback, he will just take what the defense gives them. He will just get rid of the ball quickly. We'll take the short stuff and we'll just try to grind them out and grind it down. Okay? What an amazing thought. Oh, wait, no, our quarterback doesn't know how to do that. Okay? So don't tell me that you got the GOAT. All right? Don't tell me that he's the Superman or superhero, because for 2 weeks leading up to that game, no one said that the offensive line was going to be why Patrick Mahomes was going to get destroyed. No one said that. You know what they were saying? Patrick Mahomes is going to be Superman. The offensive line, the few people that even mentioned it, the offensive line is not going to matter. He's just too good. He's too talented. He's too mobile, blah, 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 this and that. And then look what happened. You got to adjust. Kansas City didn't adjust. We didn't adjust well enough to win in 2015. It's just how it is. Okay? Chargers didn't adjust well enough to protect Justin Herbert enough. Okay? Well, isn't that the job of the coaching staff? Isn't it the job of the other players taking over? Okay? Yeah, your starting guy goes down. Shouldn't the backup be ready at least as much as he can be? He should be prepared though, right? I mean, you shouldn't have gone from a starting offensive lineman down to the second guy and it be as if he's a high school kid. The level of play should have not have dropped that much. Okay? It drops from here to there. No, it should drop from here to there. Okay? And then that halfway point is going to cause some problems for you, right? That's where you move other things around. That's where you change the offensive style. That's where maybe you be a little more aggressive or conservative on defense, depending on the situation that you're in, right? So that's the job of a football team. That's the point of all this. So I don't care the excuses about why you lost or why you won or why they won, whatever. You know what? History is going to remember that we put up another banner in Foxborough Stadium. In Gillette Stadium. I'm old as shit, guys. Okay, I still call it Foxborough Stadium. Okay, forgive me. At least I'm not so old where I say Boston Patriots. Okay, that's when you really know you're old. Okay, I don't do that. They've always been the New England Patriots for me. But that banner is going to say Super Bowl champions on it, 2025. And in 20 years, that banner's still going to be there. And no one's going to remember all these little fights on Twitter and all these little idiots on YouTube that are all saying all this bullshit. Okay? Drake May will be in the Hall of Fame. They'll have his bust right next to Tom Brady. And then, they'll have this really cool altar with candles and everything where you can go and you can pray to it and stuff. They're all going to have that. And then that banner is just going to say, that's our 7th Super Bowl, more than anybody. That's it. So screw everybody else. Just win, baby. Just win. You know. Turf toe sucks. Who's talking about turf toe? Patrick didn't have turf toe. They tried to say that, but he didn't have turf toe. You don't do what he did on turf toe. You can't. It's that he probably had a sprained toe or something or nicked or something, but no, he definitely didn't have turf toe. There is no effing way that Patrick Mahomes had turf toe in that game. It's not. That's bullshit. First game you went to was your 10th birthday in 1985 at Foxborough Stadium. Nice. Very nice. All right, guys. Well, we got a big day tomorrow. I will see you here tomorrow. Of course, I'll be here a little earlier. I won't get it started right at the game because we got the pregame and everything. So be here a little earlier. Probably see you at about 11:30 Pacific, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. If you're on the East Coast, that's going to be 2:30 2:30 for you. If you're Central, it's going to be 1:30. I'm trying to remember all the damn time zones. And if you're Mountain, then I'm sorry, but you don't count. So, because that means that you are in the Colorado time zone, and we don't care about you because you are in enemy territory. Okay? So, there you go. Have a great night, guys. I appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow. Sleep well tonight because guess what, guys? We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. Let's go.
Von Allen Sports. Von Allen Sports.
100.
Von Allen Sports.